All right, we are in the nitty gritty of the fantasy football playoffs. For many of you, it's going to be the second round. For some of you, it'll be the first round. Please fix that next year. Don't have your fantasy championship in week 18. But I'm going to give you my starts and sits at the quarterback position. Do me a favor, drop a like, subscribe, and why don't you comment down below? Let me know your most difficult start sit decision heading into week 2 for most of us of the fantasy playoffs. Okay, I think there's a lot of good options this week for streaming quarterbacks, which wasn't the case at all last week. A lot of really bad matchups. I think that tide turns here in week 16. My first start of the week is Aaron Rodgers at the Dolphins. Now, keep in mind, I'm recording this right before Monday Night Football, so I'm not 100% sure exactly what's going to happen there, but I assume he's going to be healthy, and I believe they have a good chance to win this game, which means Aaron Rodgers should be playing as their playoffs hopes will still be alive. But they play the Dolphins at Miami as well, so the weather won't be a problem. Miami currently gives up the third most points to fantasy quarterbacks. They're a very good offense, but defensively, they have given up a ton of points to a lot of positions, the quarterback position being one of them that they give up the most to. For whatever reason, Bradley Chubb's not really making a big impact at this point. Not to say that he can't in the future, but it's not gelling all that well right now. And Aaron Rodgers is still that same player he was the last 2 years in a row, MVP player. I think he shows up for this game down the stretch. I think he plays some of his best football to end the year. He's going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder. They just had the bye week. He's getting a lot of chemistry with his receivers. Romeo Doubs is going to be back finally, hopefully. So I like this start for Aaron Rodgers. Watson's on fire. It's a good matchup, and he is well worth a start. And he's available in a lot of leagues. All right, my next start of the week is Geno Smith at the Kansas City Chiefs. He was one of those players that I was very hesitant to start last week, and he had one of his worst weeks, actually, his third worst week of the season. So if you played him, hopefully you were able to make it to the next round. He was one of my sits. But this week, I'm all guns. Let's go. Geno Smith is a start. Yes, even without Tyler Lockett, there will be plenty of options for him. All the tight ends they have, Ken Walker, DK Metcalf, Goodwin is a speedster as well. They play the Chiefs, who give up the 5th most points to fantasy quarterbacks. Geno's been playing really well. He's been kind of, on a roll, not really MVP form, but playing really well. Quarterback 5 on the year. So I think we could have another 20+ point performance here versus the Chiefs in a game where the Seahawks need to win. So expect some of those risky 4th down scenarios to happen, which could lead to more points in what should be a barn burner, because the Chiefs are going to be able to score points. Geno's going to have to answer the bell. All right, my third start of the week was a player I told you guys to sit 2 weeks ago. That was versus the Niners. He had under a 15-point performance. I like the matchup this week, though. At the Cardinals, that is Tom Brady, the GOAT. Arizona currently gives up the 6th most points to fantasy quarterbacks. Tom Brady's coming off a game where he bounced back in fantasy. He had some pretty bad turnovers and mistakes, but he still completed 30 of 44 attempts, 312 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's what we're focused on. He made some mistakes. That's fine. He still had a good fantasy football day. I think that continues versus a defense that scares us much less in Arizona, who is also missing some of their offensive weapons. So I think Tom Brady could have a huge bounce back game. They need to win. They have not locked up this division, not even close. They need to win, and Tom Brady needs to play similar to how he played last week, just minus the turnovers. All right, a player I told you to sit last week, and I think that was a good call because he only had 9 fantasy points, is Daniel Jones. I am now saying that you can start him as a desperation start, right? Rostered in only 45% of leagues, so he could be available. He plays the Minnesota Vikings, who currently give up the 8th most points to fantasy quarterbacks. Again, this is the desperation start scenario. I prefer Geno, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers over Daniel Jones. However, this is a good matchup, and I believe Daniel Jones should be able to capitalize it, and he's always someone who can go for 50, 60 yards on the ground when he uses his legs. So I like this. Again, another important game. The Giants need to win this game to stay in that playoff hunt. because anything can happen. They have a really tough end of the season. All right, I'm going to give you 2 sits of the week. The first one is a quarterback from one of my favorite teams, which is the Washington Commanders, Taylor Heineke. Let's sit Taylor Heineke. He plays the San Francisco 49ers. That team is legit everywhere, all over, at all levels. They give up the 3rd fewest points to the position. Do not chase this. In fact, in Superflex leagues, if you have like a star wide receiver or Heineke, I'm going probably with that star wide receiver. My second sit of the week is going to be Mac Jones. Has not really been performing all that well. Offense doesn't look good. Matt Patricia has no idea how to fix it. So we're going to sit him in a very bad matchup versus the Bengals, who currently give up the 5th fewest points to the position. Again, if you're in a super flex league, 2 quarterback league, okay, do I start like Mac Jones or like T. Higgins? Do I start Mac Jones or Amari Cooper? Do I start Mac Jones or Jahan Dotson? You know, like those are the real conversations we're having right now. You might want to lean towards your positional player in this week. So those are my starts and my sits at the quarterback position. Drop a like, subscribe, and let me know what you think about this list in the comments below.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLand fam.